Very warm good evening to all. Today's first topic will go to the basic of the criminal trial. Before we try to understand how to run the criminal trial and what are the requirements to become a good litigant lawyer, mostly in the criminal practice, we should understand what are the basic stages of the criminal trial. Actually, it's very easy. I have dealt with this subject in the past internship programs also, but I would love to repeat it here. If you by chance have missed that video, which is also online uploaded. Now, in the criminal trial, yesterday we discussed that FIR is lodged, and once the FIR is lodged, accuses either he or she takes the anticipatory bail, and thereafter what happens when the charge sheet is filed before the court after the bail is taken, or if bail is refused or rejected by for some reason, then so charge sheet is mandatory to be filed. That is the investigation by the police and all the documents, whatever the documents or evidence in the form of the maybe it may be a muddemal also if the property is stolen, or there may be a weapon which will also be a part of the muddemal, and also all the documents together. What is the investigation done by the police will be a bunch of the papers which will be known as charge sheet or चालान. मराठी में उसको आरोप पत्र भी बोलते हैं, दोषारोप पत्र भी बोलते हैं. It is then submitted to the court, concerned court. Now, when it is submitted to the court, the charge sheet is filed, and the accused is summoned to the court. The charge sheet is filed, investigation is completed. Now you will be taken on trial. Now, when they say that it will be taken on trial, that is, trial will begin. The first stage is the either the plea is recorded, depends on the what are the charges. In accident cases, it is plea recorded, or what are the otherwise it's the framing of the charges. Now, more or less, both are the same stage, but this is the first stage where the case starts. That is framing of charge. What are the charges against you, or the plea is recorded. And the one question, the common question the judge asks the client or the litigant or the accused: are you pleading guilty to the charge? That is called recording of plea or recording of the framing of the charges. Now, when the charges are framed, thereafter summons are sent to the complainant and other witnesses. All these witnesses will be examined. Now, how these witnesses will be examined? Mostly in an order where the complainant who has filed the FIR and the witness thereafter, and the last will be investigating officer. See, the procedure is very small. It depends on how many witnesses. It may be doctor also. It may be an expert opinion witness also. It may be handwriting expert also. Depends on the what kind of cases it is. It may be a analyst report, chemical analyst CA report. That is not CA chartered accountant, but chemical analyst report. It may be that kind of, or maybe laboratory report. It may be a medical report, or it may be checking with an expert opinion, maybe psychiatrist also. So you never know who will come, but mostly you are not taken by surprise. Whatever is there in charge sheet, those people who has given the statement will be called to the police, will be called to the court. And what is what they speak before the court is called deposition. Now, what they speak before the court, you as an accused lawyer or a counsel, you have a right to again cross-examine or contradict them. You can contradict them with the help of the charge sheet. They may have said something that there was a red color car in the charge sheet, and when they come before the court in accident case, they may say it was a white color car through which accident happened. Now, accident took place. So you have to be very careful. You should read the charge sheet thoroughly. In fact, you should by heart. That you should, if you read it 3-4 times, you will be knowing it. What is the what are the charges, what the statement is recorded, and what is the actually he is submitting or deposing before the court. So this is actually very easy if you know the charge sheet. So always whenever a charge sheet is given, read it in one breath. It is completely easy for you, and nobody can stop you once you know the charges in the charge sheet. So always better that we read the charge sheet. Now this is the first step. Now here the cross examination will be done. Now, once the prosecution witnesses are over, they are completed, your accused will be called to the box. There is a box, if you say गवाहों का box बोलते हैं या witness box बोलते हैं, उसमें accused will be called, and his statement, his or her statement will be recorded under section 313 of CRPC. That is statement of the accused. That उसको क्या बोलना है अपने गुनाह के बारे में, what does he or she wants to say, why this happened. So complete all the questions will be put up by the magistrate or the concerned judge, if it is session trial, by the concerned judge to the her or him, and they will be asking why this witness has said this against you, why this witness said this against you, and there will be permanent 2-3 question will be at the end of the statement of the accused, whether why the witness have said this against you, witness ने आपके अगेंस्ट में ऐसा क्यों कहा है, पुलिस ने आपके अगेंस्ट में केस क्यों फाइल किया है. The normal questions will be, what do you want to say about this case? Do you want to examine any witness on oath or oral, or do you want to examine yourself? Now this is the prosecution witness side is over. Now it will be defense witness side. Now here the defense witness side, if you also want to examine any witnesses, you can bring. You want to examine yourself on the oath that is on solemn affirmation. आपको कसम खा के कहना पड़ेगा कि मैं जो भी कह रहा हूँ सच कह रहा हूँ, whatever I am speaking the truth. Now when you are saying this, or you call any witnesses, that witness or yourself will again be cross-examined. You are subjected to cross-examine by the prosecution side. Firstly understand, firstly it was prosecution side witnesses, you cross-examined from defense side, and once under section 313 CRPC statement is recorded and you are given an opportunity to lead the evidence, you can also bring your witnesses or you can be yourself witnesses, but remember you will again be cross-examined by the prosecution, that is the public prosecutor in the criminal matters. Now once the both side evidence are closed, that we call it closing process is given, that we do not want to examine any further witnesses, this is over, then the matter is closed for arguments. The argument from the both the sides. Now from both the sides will argue the matter, and the matter will be posted for judgment. So this is all about the criminal trial. Actually it's not very big, there are only certain stages, but when I remember when I was new junior, I always wanted to किसके बाद क्या आता है, किसके बाद क्या आता है. I actually hold up one senior lawyer and told him, please write down कि what are the stages of criminal trial, case कैसे चलता है. So this is what, if anybody wants, later on I will ask how it runs. Otherwise you'll find many this also on the internet, many articles will be there. So it is really difficult कि इसके बाद क्या होगा, इसके बाद, as a new lawyer you will always have that anxiety or also the curiosity कि इसके बाद क्या आता है, इसके बाद क्या आता है, अभी ये कंप्लेंट एग्जाम किया, उसके बाद क्या होगा, कौन सा विटनेस आएगा. So actually they are in the order of the charge sheet. So always remember, this is very easy, and remind me later, there is one case which is actually Justice Geeta Mittal's case. It runs into 800 plus pages. It was also from the Delhi High Court, and it was Mr. Ram Jethmalani sir was the accused lawyer as a defense counsel. And if you read that one judgment, that is enough for all of us to understand. I have read it once around in the year 2012. Thereafter, I did not read it again. There is lot of all these things are discussed in that. It is 800 pages, but you really want to become a good criminal trial lawyer, do read it. I'll share the link later with the help of the Vandana. It is 800 pages, really very difficult, and Justice Geeta Mittal has written it. She was later also was the Chief Justice of the Jammu and Kashmir High Court, and she retired, I think, about a year ago. So she has written it very beautifully and very dynamic lady, and she has taken a very lot of. She wrote this judgment when she was in Delhi. So it is one of the good judgment I have come across, which you should go through it. And it is 800 plus pages maybe, and there are 2-3 judgments of the same. It is one Nitesh Katara, he was murdered from the Delhi, and it was a love affair, but somehow the charge sheet was filed by the police only for 4 pages. The matter went up to Supreme Court. Supreme Court has taken a strong view on the same, and then thereafter re-investigation was done. So this was actually a very big hi-fi case, do go through it. It is Nitesh Katara who was murdered in this. He was a victim in that. So I'll try to share that judgment. I hope any of you can read it. It will really help you in the criminal matters. Now, next we go to reading. Shardul, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Just a minute, Shardul. I'll
Hello.
share the screen. Shardul, this is what I have shared with you. Divorce, wife's act of rejecting posh accommodations of up to rupees 30 lakhs rent per month, unreasonable. Similar doesn't mean totally identical.
Yes.
Now I have chosen this particular article because there are some good words used by the Supreme Court judges and how it works. You should know. So that is the reason we are going to read. Shardul, can you start from here?
Yes, ma'am. Supreme Court, in a divorce proceeding where a wife had rejected all the options for rented accommodation similar to her industrialist husband's residence, the bench of L. Nageshwara Rao Justice and B.R. Gavai Justice had held that the conduct of wife in firstly not choosing any house as per her choice, and secondly in rejecting all the properties which have been identified by the architect only on the ground that they are not similar, to say the least, is unreasonable. Case trajectory: the husband, industrialist Jaidev Shroff, and his wife Poonam got married on November 27, 2004. However, the relationship between them soared, and various cases, including the FIRs, were filed by both the husband and wife against each other. The husband filed a divorce petition in 2015 seeking divorce on the ground of cruelty. He also lodged a complaint making certain serious allegations against the wife, after which she voluntarily left the Pali Hill Bandra residence where the husband and the wife residing where the husband and the wife were residing, and went to live at her mother's residence with her daughter. The husband thereafter filed an application seeking an order of injunction restraining the wife from entering the said house. While the family court granted an injunction restraining the wife from entering the said house, the Bombay High Court allowed the writ petition filed by the wife. The husband hence moved to the Supreme Court. Exploring the possibility of an amicable resolution, mediators were appointed twice. However, both the time, the mediators submitted that it was not possible to resolve the matter. On 6th March 2020, the Supreme Court passed following order directing the registrar of the family court to engage an architect from the panel of architects maintained by the Bombay High Court for finding out appropriate rented accommodation for the residence of the wife. It is made clear that the residence shall be approximately similar to the size of the Pali Hill residence and located as far as possible in Bandra and Juhu area. While the architect gave a list of as many as 17 properties.
Shardul, you lost the contact. While the architect gave a list of as many as 17 properties, the wife rejected all, saying that none of the properties shown in the list were similar to the said house. Analysis on possibility of Shardul, unmute yourself. Unmute. Start reading. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. The analysis on the possibility of shared household. The relations between the parties are strained to such an extent that even the efforts made by this court to arrive at a settlement by personally discussing the matter in chambers with them have failed. On 2 occasions, the court appointed mediators, but the mediation proceedings could not succeed. In such a situation, to compel the parties to live together in one house would not be in the interest of either of the parties. With the history of such acrimony and filing of criminal cases against each other, such an order, rather than benefiting the parties, would be detrimental to their interest. Now, analysis on what would be a similar property. To stretch the word similar, as used in the order dated 6th March 2020, to be totally identical to the said house would be unrealistic. It will be difficult to find out a house identical to the said house having the same area, the same facilities, and the same luxuries. The word similar has to be construed as providing the same degree of luxury and comfort as is available in the said house. Hence, the conduct of respondent wife in firstly not choosing any house as per her choice, and secondly rejecting all the properties which have been identified by the architect only on the ground that they are not similar and therefore not in accordance with the order dated 6th March 2020, to say the least, is unreasonable. Now, analysis on payment of rupees 35.37 lakhs per month by husband. It was argued by senior advocate Sham Diwan, appearing for the wife, that the husband earning hundreds of crores per year, whereas the wife and the daughter have to survive on a meager amount of rupees 12 lakhs per month. Hence, the payment of 35.37 lakhs per month should be paid. The family court, by an elaborate order, after recording the details about the income of the parties, had directed an interim maintenance to be paid to the wife at the rate of rupees 7 lakhs per month, and to the minor at rate of 5 lakhs per month. It was hence noticed that if the prayer for payment of an amount is allowed, it will be giving an additional amount to the wife. It will amount to awarding an amount which is much more than the one to which the wife was found entitled by the family court. Now, the order, the court, if the wife decides to shift to any of the properties listed by the architect, or if she locates any of the rented premises as per her choice, the husband shall pay the rent of the said premises from the date on which such premises are taken on rent. However, taking into consideration that the highest rent of the properties identified by the architect is rupees 30 lakhs per month, the husband would be liable to pay a rent to the maximum of rupees 30 lakhs per month. Further, considering that the divorce petition has been pending before the family court for a period of last 6 years, the court directed that the divorce petition pending before the family court be decided expeditiously, so that there can be at least some quietus to the acrimonious litigation pending between the parties. This law
Very
is
nice.
Jaydev Shroff versus Poonam Shroff.
Thank you so much, Dargo. Very well read. Now, if you go through this judgment, see how so many things are actually taken care in matrimonial dispute. You have understood injunction, you have understood interim maintenance, you have understood how the High Court has dealt with the order and how the Supreme Court has dealt with the order. See, from family court, the matter went to the High Court, another party lost, it again went to the Supreme Court. So this is how it was. So this was one good judgment or order, we say, was actually very useful. Now, the next is drafting. The main question before, however senior I may be or anybody, the main thing is how do I draft? If I am told today that I have to draft an election petition, I will need to look into the book. It will not be really easy. And there will not be a format available for me. I'm coming up with the drafting book, then honestly, but it is just a 1% of whatever I have learned. Not even 1%. It is actually a very meager, smallest part of the 1% also. So drafting is a very exhaustive subject. So if after 20 years practice, even I feel sometimes, how do I draft this? How do, will I get any format? Then how do I do it? I will tell you one secret, that is a trade secret. that whenever I find it is difficult, that I don't know how to draft it, or I want to run a trial, which I have not run. Suppose a Dakota trial comes to me. I don't know how to do it. If it's an accident, that what I will do. I have learned it on my own. That the first accident case I got, I was like really scared. It came from a senior lawyer to me, and the senior lawyer was a very brilliant lawyer. I went to him, but he was unable to help me out. So what I found out one very good way, I went to the library, court library, and I started reading all the accident cases. So I knew how to do it now. So I knew in a question kya kya pucha hai, what question I have asked in the other, and I tried to find a similar judgment to understand. That is how I learned the cross examination. How do I do the cross examination? Now here again, when you are asking about the drafting, it may be family court petition, it may be 125 petition, it may be domestic violence case, it may be a special leave petition, it may be a writ petition. See, you name it and you will be finding it. It may be an application. So you don't know what. Sometimes we may not know as a how to draft a simple adjournment application. The two things you can do. One, if you are associated with senior, try to read each and every page. If it even if it is opponent lawyer's brief or paper, try to read each and every page. That is the key to success to drafting. So you will know how it is drafted. Another thing, start reading judgment. Suppose tomorrow you get a case of domestic violence and you have no idea how to draft it. But you can do one more thing. What are the prayers you will make? You may not know how the story goes. So see, basic idea is same. Somebody may give you the drafting, but then also your case will be different than the one who has given you. In those kind of matters, what you can do, you can just Google or go to indianqanun.com or any other legal portal and start reading the judgment. Suppose we take a case of domestic violence case. Now the easiest thing, find, if you are from the Maharashtra, go to Bombay High Court website, start reading all the cases of the domestic violence in last 5 years. If you are from the Punjab and Haryana, go to Chandigarh High Court website, start reading all the cases which are related. Suppose it's a criminal trial of the accident case, start reading that. Suppose it's a civil suit about the check bouncing. See, for check bouncing, you can also file a civil suit. You can also file a criminal complaint under section 138 of Negotiable Instrument Act. So you can read both sides of judgments, civil as well as criminal. So that is the key, and that is the way to learn it, because your case will not, one lawyer's case will not be similar to another lawyer's case. So every client, every litigant will be coming up with a different kind of case. Very rarely we find the similar cases. So in those kind of matters, it's the easiest thing. You can go to the any portal which is related to law, start reading the judgments. If you don't have any portal, go to any high court, Supreme Court also, in fact, you can go and start reading the current judgments also. That is what I have been telling in all my lectures. Start reading one judgment, one civil, one criminal, one matrimonial, one tax. See, when I went to Supreme Court with my Madam Asha Nair, I was doing all tax matters, and I have never ever done tax matters in my life, except that I was a BCom student. But then BCom does not teach you to how to do tax and all that. But then I started learning it only with the help of the judgments. So it is the one thing you can do is just go back to the basics, that is reading of the judgments, and that is the key of drafting, running a trial, how to argue the matter, what are the points you can take. You don't need anybody. I'm not saying that you won't need the help of the senior. You will need the senior's help. But if you actually read the judgment, in fact, you will be the one who will be helping your seniors with some good judgments. If you are actually working with the senior and he or she has some good cases, you can also go back to some judgment and find out this is the relevant judgment. And there are sometimes judgments where the matter is lost, and our matter is also similar, but then find out what points are taken by the opponent lawyers. See, when you read the judgment, there are two sides of arguments. So defense and the prosecution. What points the prosecution has taken, what points the defense has taken. So this is very useful. So if you read the judgment, you will be having all the key answers to your all the questions. So it in nutshell, I would say, if you want to learn the drafting, the only art is, or only key to that to get it successfully done is reading of the judgments. And reading of judgment per day, one judgment may be difficult, but then reading a one judgment in a week is not difficult. And we are doing it. See, you all are now juniors. You may not be having every day 5 cases or 1 case, or even I don't have right now so many cases every day. See, there are total 30 days in a month, 30 or 31. There are 4 Sundays, 2 Saturdays, that is 4 and 2 is 6. You have only 24 days of the working code. Now, out of that, one is bank holiday. So there are only 23 working proper days. We do have holiday codes also. I have been to holiday codes in this Diwali vacation also, because a boy from Patna was arrested by the airport police station here. At the airport, he was carrying a bag where there was a live dead cartridge in his bag. That was the case. He was released on bail later on, but because he was unable to explain how this dead cartridge came in his bag, it was really difficult to explain. But somehow we got the bail after 3 weeks. So really, sometimes it is really difficult. But then you should know that what is the law. The law you will find in law books, but how to interpret, you will be finding it from the judgments. Anybody want to ask any more questions on drafting? We can take at the end of the session. I would like to take one more section. We have some time. That is section 125 CRPC. It is very easy to say 125 CRPC is related to the maintenance. But if you read this section, you will find so many things. I want to read for all of you, for myself also. Let's go to the basics. I'm sharing the screen. Let's understand section 125 CRPC. Order for maintenance of wives, children, and parents. If any person having sufficient means neglects or refuses to maintain his wife, unable to maintain herself, be his legitimate or illegitimate minor child. See, the word is legitimate, illegitimate. 125 allows it. Whether married or not, unable to maintain itself. See. Next is his legitimate or illegitimate child, not being a married daughter who has attained majority, where such child is by reason of any physical or mental abnormality or injury unable to maintain itself, or now not being a married daughter. See, once a daughter is married, the responsibility as per Hindu Marriage Act or other laws also, it is on the husband. That's why married daughter is not included under section C, subsection C. Next is his father or mother unable to maintain himself or herself. A magistrate of the first class may, upon proof of such neglect or refusal, if any son or daughter is not maintaining the old parents, they can also take the help of a case under section 125 CRPC and take the help of this section. Neglect or refusal, order such person to make a monthly allowance for the maintenance of his wife or such child, father or mother. See, the wife, child includes legitimate, illegitimate, adopted, step children also. At such monthly rate, not exceeding 500 rupees. Now this 500 rupee limit is taken away. There is an amendment in this. As such magistrate thinks fit, and to pay the same to such person as the magistrate may from time to time direct, provided that the magistrate may order the father of a minor female child referred to in clause B to make such allowance until she attains her majority. If the magistrate is satisfied that the husband of such minor female child, if married, is not possessed of sufficient means. Explanation for the purposes of this chapter. Minor means a person who, under the provision of Indian Majority Act 1875, is deemed not to have attained his majority. Wife includes a woman who has been divorced by or has obtained a divorce from her husband and has not remarried. But then for a Muslim woman, it's a different law. Such allowance shall be payable from the date of the order, or if so order, from the date of the application for maintenance. There is one judgment of the Supreme Court, also in Bombay High Court, that nowadays the maintenance should be paid from the date of the application. The next is, if any person's order fails without any sufficient cause to comply with the order, that is, he breaches the order. Any such magistrate may, for every breach of the order, issue a warrant for levying the amount due in the manner provided for laying fines, and may sentence, punish kar sakta hai, such person for the whole or any part of each month's allowances remaining unpaid after the execution of the warrant, to imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month or until payment if sooner made, provided no warrant shall be issued for the recovery of any amount due under this section unless application be made to the court to levy such amount within a period of 1 year. So once there is a limitation under section 125 CRPC. Once the maintenance order is passed, you have to demand within a 1 year. There is a limitation. See how much knowledge we are getting by reading the sections from the date on which it becomes due. Provided further that if such person offers to maintain his wife on condition of living with him and she refuses to live with him, such magistrate may consider any grounds of refusal stated by her and may make an order under this section notwithstanding such offer, if he is satisfied that there is just ground for so doing. Explanation: if a husband has contracted marriage with another woman or keeps a mistress, it shall be considered to be just ground for his wife's refusal to live with him. Fourth is, no wife shall be entitled to receive an allowance from her husband under this section if she is living in adultery, or if without any sufficient reason she refuses to live with her husband, or if they are living separately by mutual consent. On proof of, just a minute, on proof of any wife in whose favor an order has been made under this section is living in adultery, or that without sufficient reason she refuses to live with her husband, or that they are living separately by mutual consent, the magistrate shall cancel the order. Order can be cancelled. There are consecutive sections also, 125, 126, 127. Read those sections as well. So section 125 is very exhaustive, and if you read it, you will get all your answers. There is a limitation. Everything is mentioned in that. Father and mother can also ask for the maintenance. So the basic idea to become a good lawyer: read the Barrett's, the basic section, and read these relevant judgments. This was all about. Anybody